Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the latest one-to-one digital dialogue. My name is Martin Redmayne. I'm joined today by my old friend, Captain AJ Anderson, live from Florida at the Wright Maritime Group. AJ, how are you?
I'm doing fine, Martin. And you?
Yeah, we're all doing well, and it's an interesting time.
Yes, yes, indeed.
Right, we've called this session "Doing the Right Stuff," and what I'm trying to look at is there's a big discussion in my mind about the customers and their expectations, and also more importantly, new customers and potential customers. So, a few questions I want to throw at you first, but it's an interesting demographic out there, AJ, where how many people there are that do not have yachts that could have a yacht. Can I ask a question? What do you think is your guesstimate or option to say why don't they have a boat?
Maybe they're sane. They haven't gotten that bite. I think a lot of folks, as you know, you've been talking about this for 20 years,
Yeah,
and the it's just that they don't know. And one of the opportunities that the publications have obviously is to let people know. I think what we've seen in our small world business is that uh, it's word of mouth
yeah,
largely. The clients that we have are fully managed, and our new construction people, clients, they were told to call us from a friend of theirs.
yeah,
And so that's slow. For us, it's perfect because that's as fast as we can keep up with the growth. But otherwise, I think it's the charter market is amazing to bring in people to buy boats,
yeah,
and I think the charter brokers, the big houses especially, do a great job with that.
yeah. But do you think there are any sort of specific barriers out
The lack of knowledge, the lack of understanding that it is possible.
there? Yeah,
There's these people that are, as you say, are very wealthy. They're sitting in um, a beautiful hotel in Cap Ferrat or someplace, and they see those yachts out there, and they can afford it, but they just don't know how to get from where they are out to that boat.
yeah,
And so I think it's having people that can help them make that know that that's possible for them.
yeah. Okay, so the session we normally run now is a few questions about you and your experience in the market in terms of your let's say your frustrations. Is there something in this industry that frustrates you?
Uh, I've removed that word out of my dictionary. It's kind of like the person formerly known as Prince. And so we've replaced frustration, the word, with challenge, if I can put it that way.
Yeah,
The and the reason is that if you're frustrated, you tend to stall and you don't get to the solution maybe as well as you would hope to. If you look at it as a challenge, the first thing you do is look at solutions,
yes,
or even possibly avoidance. And so those challenges, yeah, they're challenge. The challenges uh, in it's similar to what we've had for 30 years, Martin, and those challenges are partly people saying things that aren't necessarily accurate. As far as here's a good idea, here's how you should build this boat. You should do this in a certain way or manage it in a certain way. And to re-educate people is a challenge,
yeah,
but it's an opportunity, right? That's what they say, and it's a sense of uh, in our world in the strategic area, it's all industry, and the challenge is uh, uh, getting people in the different. It's one industry with many sectors. Whether it's management, new construction, shipyards, vendors, legal people, underwriters, public, everybody, and uh, and there's they need to have a common, and they do, by the way, largely. But part of it, maybe the challenge is that they, whether it's through associations, sector associations working together, or a transfer of information between them. You know, the clients, I think, the people that would be clients, they have some doubt about how things are going and are they being treated in a normal way.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to find an MSRP or a retail price and then know what your discount is or what your upcharge is. And so you know, people use the word transparency. I hesitate to use the word, but you know, I think an honest, open approach to data and showing people what is possible, what it should cost, what the value should be, I think is a challenge that's worth meeting.
Yeah. No, I think it's a topic that's come up time and time again, AJ, in terms of this word transparency and giving people the right information. And I think that's something that I've always thought, from your point of view, is a key part of any strong business, is about giving the right information. And you've always said to me about how much information is required by the client to make sure he makes the right decision. So all these things suddenly come into this doing the right stuff theme. So if I ask you the next question, which is, what do you think the industry can do smarter for the future?
You know, smarter is good because it's not just smart, you know, because there are smart things happening, as you know, and have played a role in them, by the way. And I think if we continue, you know, it's not a major thing. If you do one degree of course change, over a 3,000 mile, let's say 3,000 miles, I think that's about 50 miles of different destination, different arrival point. And so I think you can do small things today, and then tomorrow another small thing, and you get to a much better place. The destination is better. Maybe the passage there is better. I think education is key in so many ways, and so education is kind of a topic obviously by itself, but what you're educating people about, you know, you're educating them about local communities all around the world that are impacted by our industry. You communicate with and educate about the environment, obviously, you know, what works, what doesn't work, you know, where to put your investment in that. You educate people about education and how important it is. And there are people out there doing that in our industry, and they're doing a pretty darn good job. I think the education is very important, and then additionally, it's business practice, which causes all other good things to happen. Yep. And there's so many opportunities about education making an improvement, and one of the things that in 2002, ISM came in for yachting. I think it was 1998. It came in for ships, and and what we discovered right away, if you went down the Miami River or the Thames, I think you call it Thames, right? Not Thames, is there were ships on there that you were wondering if they would float. And they were ISM certified, and so the ISM was kind of that minimum standard, and we were doing something much higher than that. And already we just weren't tracking it and administrating it in a way that was auditable. And so I think in our industry, when you do a thing really positive, when you show a business moral or a business ethic in a positive way, it causes a bunch of other things to get better as well. And it doesn't. I think a Lear 25 or something doesn't fly level. It either goes up or goes down, and so you need to figure out ways to keep climbing and don't settle for what we have right now.
Yeah, good. And in terms of your expectation, the long-term forecast of yachting, where do you see us going?
Well, our business, touch wood, is that's why I surround myself with wood, because I need to on it often. But our business is, my forecast for our business is growth, and not rapid, similar to what we've done before, but maybe a little faster in some areas because our team is building and we're able to take on the work. So I think for the industry, I think it's the same. The industry will grow. How it grows, it's that possibly that 1 degree of course alteration now that gets us to the better place. Regulations, as you well know, they have done amazingly good things and amazingly dumb things for our industry over the last 20 years. And so between those two, I think regulations have done well for us, and they've caused a higher level of professionalism right across the board, from design, construction, and operations, and education, and all those things. Operations includes that. And so I think if we keep doing that as we have done and find these little possibilities for improvement, I think that the industry is going to be very important going forward. And I'm not going to say the name of the disease or the virus that is this pandemic, because I'm tired of hearing it.
Yeah.
But the pandemic has also created a level of understanding of what yachting can do for people. Right? There are, as you know, I'm sure you know, a lot of people have gone to their boat or gone to someone else's boat, and just had this life-saving or mind-saving experience.
Yes.
And so I think I think our industry is trending in the right direction.
Yeah, I think the question on that subject. Sorry, there's a very situation whereby clients have, or potential clients have experienced yachting as this safe bubble, and I think we have a 12-month period now to capitalize on that, to almost explain and demonstrate how safe, how secure, how wonderful the experience is. And that goes back to your point about education, but also how we share that information. I'm going to step back a few years now. I'm going to ask you a question which you'll probably laugh at. Is, when did you start in yachting, AJ?
Before there was satellite navigation, so I spent a lot of time kind of wandering around out there trying to find something to find home. But my first captain's job was 1975.
Okay. And over that period of time, which is now sort of quite a significant amount of time, where I won't mention ages and things, but like, how have the clients you look after changed in terms of their demands, their expectations, and the way they use the boats? I'm just always interested in how the evolution takes shape of our customer.
Well, evolution obviously also in the type of vessel that you're deployed on, if you put it that way. I've had that evolution, but in the evolution of the 60, 70, 80, 90 meter yachts, and our mid-range now in our fleet, we don't have a large fleet, it's 30 vessels, but our mid-range is 90 meters, and we have it's a little larger and a little smaller. And what we've seen as far as the change is the user seems pretty much the same. The client seems the same. They're a human being that wants to go to a place and have a nice time. So that whatever that nice time, some are more sporty. The client base has gotten a little younger, so there's possibly more sport activity on a daily basis. But I think the larger change is, from our experience, is the family office. And of course, the other change is that there's a yacht management firm.
Yeah.
And I've got to say this, if you don't mind, and then is that it's a funny thing, and I was talking to Rob Tobin about it whenever Monaco happened last, and there's a guy a U.S. president that got along very well with your Prime Minister, Thatcher, and that was President Reagan. and he had this line. It was just hysterical, I thought. And it was and the 9 most terrifying words a citizen will ever hear is, quote, "I'm here from the government and I'm here to help you." And so I've converted that, or we converted that, and I shared it with Rob, and I'm going to say 12. The 12 most terrifying word a yacht captain will hear: "I'm here from yacht management and I'm here to help you." And so having been in that position, but not with the yacht management firm, so that yacht management has changed things a lot, and the family office and that whole integration, the level of reconciliation, the level of checking things, where we have ISM, there's those audits, there's an extraordinary higher level of review of even minor purchases in some cases. And so that administrative, you almost have to have a 90-meter yacht so you can have a purser and basically an accountant on board to help keep track of everything. And so that has changed a lot. I think it's going to continue. I think we have our smallest boat, I think, is 55 meters, and I've been there. I know what those people have to deal with, and they're dealing with a lot with a fairly short number of people. And so for the smaller boats, it's really challenging. For the larger boats, it becomes more business and more professional in many ways. We just have to balance that as we go forward. What do we expect out of what's happening on board? We want those folks on board, those people on board, to focus on what's important, which is the client's, obviously, the owner's safety, their enjoyment, their life experience that they have, and not a lot of paperwork and reporting as much as possible. I don't know if I answered your question, to be honest with you, but that's my answer.
I think what it is, AJ, what I'm trying to look at is understanding what these customers really get out of yachting, and how much time they're spending on board, how much that is changing, because obviously we want these owners to become ambassadors for the future. And owners, as you said at the very beginning, should be recommending it to other people in their networks. So I'm just trying to look at the expectation management area that says, most clients really love their yachting and get the most out of it, but we can still do more to make them happier.
Yeah, I mean, it's our job, and if our business is fairly narrowly focused, right? So it's easier. We don't have a lot of distractions about sales and other things. It's just we wake up in the morning and say, what can we do to make the crew situation in a better, that they can do a better job for the owner, and what can we do to make the family office's job easier, more rewarding, and then and those times when the owner does call us, that we're ready with a reasonable, accurate answer that gives him confidence in the next thing that he decides to do. We have to just keep working on that.
Yeah, good. Okay, question I have about this, the next generation, because obviously what we're seeing at the moment is what I call our industry is made up of a lot of patriarchal figures who've been here for the last 30 years. In terms of captains, in terms of business leaders, etc. How do we solve that problem in the future? What are we doing to solve that, both from your ex-ISS position and also from your Wright Maritime position? Because to me, it's something I'm very aware of, that there's a next generation that needs to come through and take over almost.
Well, my ISS role as president, by the way, that was not voluntary. I was, as you British say, I was pressed, and which, for those that don't know what that means, I was taken from ashore and thrown on the boat, and which it was still great and rewarding and hopefully beneficial to everybody. succession planning is the key, right? And because that's what we want to do is we want someone to be, this company's named Wright, not Anderson, and we want this company to be. And by the way, I never, I've never used the term right stuff because I didn't want to give anybody the idea that they should play on Wright Maritime Group and call it Wrong Maritime Group. So so hopefully that won't cause that. But in succession, we have people here that are in their early 30s and early 40s. There's a small group that are the executive team here.
Yeah.
And the idea is that they can do what, take over whatever I'm doing in that world. They're already side by side with me. And in the operations side, the same thing. We have, we have the first DPA in the yacht industry still in the same company. Eric has been here since we had it, when it started. And then we have some great guys that are in their 30s and 40s. And so we have a nice succession ramp. And I think the captains are doing that on yachts. They're training their crew to take the next step. I think in your business and the other managers that do what we do, that is how to do the next generation. Now, one of the things that I've asked for I asked the insurance industry, actually, I spoke at some where there were a bunch of insurance underwriters. I can't remember what it was called, but I said, wouldn't it be great? Every crew member that goes on a yacht has basic safety training, STCW.
Yeah.
Everyone. So they do that 40-hour course. And wouldn't it be great if it was a 42-hour course? And there was an hour in the front and an hour in the back. And those hours were dedicated to the purpose and the responsibility of their professionalism and what they are intended to do, not just go on there and wipe the boat down or keep, launch a life raft. And then at the back end, the same thing, just kind of a reiteration. Now, the course is still 40 hours. That's where you get your certificate. But if the school, I know that Brendan and other people would be happy to give their time at the front end and the back end of one of these things as a courtesy.
Yes.
And that would be usually beneficial to the maritime piece, is to get the crew to understand really what's happening and the importance of what they're doing. It's not just, the people that own these boats and charter these boats, they have given up mostly have given up a lot. They've taken a huge risk, especially the owners. And so it's not just, I'm rich and so therefore I'm having this. It is, they've had their nights of saying, I hope this is the right thing for me to do, and then they did it, and that allows the rest of us to do what we do.
Yeah. So in that hour of production and the hour of closing that course, what are the fundamental things that you would like to tell the crew, let's say, as an experienced guy yourself? If you put yourself on that front and back end of the course, what are the nuggets you'd share with the next generation?
And that's one of the beauties, by the way, Martin, is that I might have something slightly different than Brendan or Rob or you. So I think it can be really multiple opportunities there. But from my standpoint, it's really their responsibility as a professional and as what they do and how they view their clients, how they view their shipmates, the mailman bringing a package to the boat, how they view these people and with respect and appreciation, as opposed to saying, the thing about obviously a yacht or any ship really, but let's just say with yachts, is there's another yacht right next door. And if that yacht says, I'm going to pay you $50 more a week or a month or whatever, and I'm going to give you another day off, the only thing that's going to keep them on this yacht is the feeling that they're doing something that's important and that they're reaching higher. And in the land world is that, the people suffering working with me, it's harder for them to get another job because they might have to commute 2 hours.
Yeah.
On the boat world, they're already commuting 4,000 miles, so it doesn't matter which boat they're on. So it's really to make them feel the importance of what they do and the responsibility and how they do it as well.
Yeah, I think the idea of respect is very, very fundamental. I think that's a fantastic topic, and also the topic of recognizing the value and purpose of what you're doing. It's not just working for the very, very wealthy person. It's actually doing a professional job on a yacht and keeping it safe and clean and all the other things. Because I think sometimes the highs and lows of working on board boats is so disparate in terms of busy time to downtime that you can forget sometimes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So final question, AJ, what's the most important thing we have to focus on as an industry now for the next 10 years? What's the number one thing you think we have to focus on?
It is the education piece, Martin, because it does have an impact on everything else, really. And and so if we do that, we are going to be in a good place 10 years from now. The ethics piece, education is touching everything, and the ethics, work ethic, ethics means a lot of things, of course, but the coming to work and doing a good job, making sure that you're communicating positively with people. We say we want people to feel after they get off the phone with one of our guys, even if the guy says, this is an error you need to correct, but they still get off the phone feeling like they have purpose and they feel valued. And so I think if we continue on that path, and I'll be here in 10 years, by the way, because I can't do anything else. But and so I'm looking forward to that, and I believe in it.
Yeah, I think 10 years from now as well, AJ, there was an interesting subject happening, which is this topic of the sustainability topic and the environmental topic. How does that play with the Wright Maritime Group these days?
Well, obviously we make a living by making sure that people don't hurt the environment, we mitigate the impact on the environment. But for us, we invest in way of charity or time, either money or time in that subject. And of course, we're involved in new construction kind of on a ongoing basis. So we're design, engineering, technical development, even during the project, and of course delivery. And so looking for those opportunities and where it really makes a difference, try to put that type of engineering into our new projects, as well as on the refits of our current vessels.
Yeah. Good stuff. Okay, AJ, thanks a million for your time. Really enjoyed talking to you. And I put it this way, I hope to get together again in the new year as soon as we can. I miss you.
Likewise, Martin. It's really terrific to see you.
And you take care, all right?